Hi everyone! In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these hanging plants. It's very easy and suitable for beginners. We will use 3 strands, so you will need to separate the thread. And we start to make satin stitch. One of the common mistakes here is not making the stitches closed enough. You can still see the black color through the white stitches. It doesn't look very good. How to fix that? It's just to make a few more stitches. Like here, I will add one more stitch. Now it looks better. Continue to do the same to make another pot. And when you finish using one color, you can just make some tiny stitches nearby and then cut the thread. For this pot, please be careful not to stitch on the leaves, leaving some space for that. Use 3 strands to make stem stitch. Make 1 stitch but not pulling all the way through, and then stitch out from the middle of this stitch and continue to do that. This way of making is easier for beginners, so I would recommend for beginners to follow and do the same. For the leaves, we will go back and use the same satin stitch. To keep it neat, I like to start from the middle. And usually I do it color by color, so I don't need to change the thread very often. And here I show another way to make stem stitch using 2 strands this time. It's very similar to back stitch. And for the leaves here, we will use long and short stitch. Basically, it's to make 1 long stitch and then a short stitch and then go back to the long stitch. Pay attention to follow the curve of the circle. If you find it too difficult, you can also use a satin stitch for this part. The result is almost the same. Now I've finished half of it and I will start to make the other half. Pay attention here that I pull out the needle from the middle and then stitch into the left side. The reason of doing that is because I find pulling out the needle leaves a very small needle hole. so it's almost unnoticeable. For the cactus here, we're also using 2 strands to make long and short stitch. Some of my stitches will be covering parts of the pattern, but don't panic. You can stitch those little spikes at the end like randomly. Remember, when you start our second row, it should be covering parts of the first row. You notice when I pull out the needle, it's in the middle of the stitches. So you have a smooth surface. After finish the cactus, use the satin stitch again to make few flowers. Now change to use 1 strand only. Add a few random short stitches. You can make some longer. It's really random and it will look like the spikes. Now change back to 3 strands, and we will make back stitch all along the flower pot. Make a tiny stitch in the middle. Finally, make a French knot on the top of the rope. At the bottom of this part, we will add a little tassel. I cut it every single time, but it's really up to you. You can just keep it about the same length and trim it at the end when you finish. Make sure to leave the thread long enough. And make few stitches, as many as you want. And when you feel it's enough, make a few tiny stitches here to tighten it. Now it's well tightened, trim the edge. That's all for today. I hope you find it useful. If you want to try, we also have the DIY kit for sale on the website. Link at description below. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.